Welcome to Medical Edge. My name is Todd Barnes. This program is produced as a partnership between the Mayo Clinic and the City of Thornton. We hope every episode provides valuable health information for you and your family.
I want to walk through the center of the door without any assistance.
Okay.
The next step Alan Zerad takes will be one of the greatest strides forward in his life.
Right there.
Exactly.
One that allows him to see his future in an entirely new way.
Oh, yes.
You just saw your first sunshine.
Oh,
Okay.
no, that was her.
That's true. So Mr. Zerad has a condition called retinitis pigmentosa. It's an inherited disease that involves the degeneration of a cell type in the retina called photoreceptors.
All right, ready to put those
I'm
on?
ready.
Mayo Clinic ophthalmologist and retinal surgeon Raymond Iezzi has made it his life's mission to try to restore vision, even artificial vision, for people like Alan.
The retina in these patients is relatively healthy except for the photoreceptors. And so what we're trying to do is replace the function of these lost photoreceptors with the retinal prosthesis.
The prosthesis is basically a bionic eye. While decades of research have convinced Dr. Iezzi it's possible, this next moment convinces him that it's also essential.
There!
Yeah.
What do you see?
With family members in tears, Alan is given his first glimpse of his wife Carmen in more than 10 years.
This is what his camera is capturing right now. This is the frame.
While the bionic system's interpretation of what Alan looks at may seem rough and pixelated to others, for Alan, it is literally an eye-opening revelation.
Oh, okay. It's going to take, yes, it's going to take interpretation of the shape of the light that's flashing.
That's right.
Okay, because it's a pulsing light. It's
That's
not
right.
like regular vision where it's
That's
like
right.
constant. It's the flash, and I've got to be able to interpret the changes in
That's
that shape.
exactly right.
Okay, let's do it
Okay.
again. Let's do it. Let's do it again, okay?
Yes. Okay. oh, how are
Great.
I picked you up. Oh.
Pick me up. God bless you.
It's crude, but it's significant. You know, it'll work.
Alan knew his restored vision would be limited. While a sighted person would see this hallway like this, Alan's bionic eye converts the scene into flashes of light.
These small flashes of light are sort of like the points of light on a scoreboard at a baseball game.
To try to imagine how it might look to Alan, Dr. Iezzi says to picture contrasting light and dark blocks on a grid.
But by moving his head and using his visual memory and all of his cognitive skills and his remarkable capacity to get around, Mr. Zerad can reconstruct a scene.
How it works is a bioengineering marvel, starting with the half-centimeter wide electronic strip Dr. Iezzi placed inside Alan's eye.
It's a very delicate device, and it's an array of electrodes that actually have to lay on a curved surface in the back of the eye where the retina is. And basically we place an electronics package around the eye, fixate that electronics package, and then we enter through the eye wall, through the white part of the eye. There's actually a portion of the device that's outside of the eye and a portion of the device that's inside of the eye on the retinal surface.
Called the Argus II, the system is designed by Second Sight. Animation shows how 60 electrodes on a tiny grid stimulate the retina's cells with patterns of pulses, thus sending signals to the brain.
Right here in the center over the bridge is where the camera is that's picking up the images. The front piece is a radio frequency antenna, and the back piece is part of the video processing unit. You're putting me to the test here.
Several weeks after his operation, Alan says his ability to interpret the system's visual images is continually improving.
I feel more confident in being able to navigate around furniture items, chairs, and tables.
Alan says moments of newfound appreciation often surprise him, even during routine tasks, such as assembling his favorite breakfast egg sandwich.
The revelation, as it were, was the fact that When I turned to look at the frying pan, I could tell that the eggs had turned white as a result of the cooking. And that was a very new experience for me.
I think it'll help him to navigate better and just to enjoy a whole lot more in life. I mean, not that he doesn't enjoy life now, but this is just really cool.
Back to that morning when Alan's bionic eye was first activated. He wasn't the only one inspired by its potential. So was another one of Dr. Iazi's retinitis pigmentosa patients, a teenage boy named Caleb, who also happens to be Alan's grandson. Should Caleb ever need it, the doctor says, the technology will only get better.
While Mr. Zared has 60 points of stimulation, if we were able to increase that number to several hundred points of stimulation, I think we could extend the technology so that patients could recognize faces and perhaps even read.
Yes, there he is. So I hope it's an encouragement to him to realize that I think it's pretty exciting to think about the future for him.
Legally blind for most of his life, Alan says he adapted extremely well as the last rays of light gradually faded to darkness. But he admits this day was definitely the answer to a prayer.
There is always that desire to say, what would it be like if I could be more independent, if I could appreciate more of the things that are in my environment and enjoy participating more fully, because part of the issue is that you lose contact with the world around you.
One step at a time. Alan says he can't wait to see what's ahead.
Whew, I can see with my eyes closed. It's going to be an exciting journey.
For the Mayo Clinic News Network, I'm Dennis Doda. Given the option, who wouldn't want a surgical procedure that lowers your risk of complications and gets you out of the hospital faster, with much less pain? We're talking about surgery on the valve leading to the largest chamber of your heart, the mitral valve. In 2 to 4% of the population, the valve's tissue fails to seal tightly or prolapses, allowing blood to squirt back in the wrong direction.
The longer a patient has mitral regurgitation and reverse flow of blood through the heart, the more likely they are to have heart failure, atrial fibrillation, and die.
Cardiac surgeon Dr. Rakesh Suri says once the problem becomes severe, patients will need to have surgery. A decade ago, Dr. Suri says that meant an artificial valve replacement for half of all patients. Today, however, he says 99% of patients can have their condition surgically repaired, increasingly with the aid of robotic technology.
If we're able to spare your own mitral valve tissue, that's a good thing for you long term. It's a decreased risk of infection, it's durable, and you don't need blood thinner as you would if you had to replace the valve.
As the head of Mayo Clinic's robotic and minimally invasive cardiac surgical program, Dr. Suri says robotics offer mechanical advantages and magnified high-definition 3D visualization.
To really get a close-up view of the mitral valve inside of the heart itself and utilize robotic arms that are thinner than my fingertip to slip between the ribs and perform the same operation as we would through an open sternotomy approach.
Open sternotomy involves splitting the chest to access the heart. Unlike the open approach, however, Dr. Suri and colleagues have found that patients treated robotically enjoy a much quicker recovery at no added cost. The breathing tube is removed before they leave the operating room. They're up, walking, and out of intensive care the same night as surgery. Tylenol or ibuprofen is usually enough to control pain instead of narcotics. And they're released from the hospital just 3 days after surgery.
Good job. Cross clamps on, pump back up, run your plea grade 1 liter, please.
After performing more than 500 procedures using a multidisciplinary team, Mayo Clinic, a center of excellence, has a success rate of 99%, with less than a 1% chance of major complication.
There really is nothing like this in heart surgery that we do, and that's why it's such a fulfilling thing to be able to offer to our patients.
For the Mayo Clinic News Network, I'm Dennis Doda.
That's all for this episode of Medical Edge. To learn more about the stories featured on this program, you can find additional resources by visiting our website and following the link to the Mayo Clinic. Thanks for watching, and be sure to watch the next episode of Medical Edge.